think that we know so much about multiculturalism, yet there's still so much to learn. I was just recently did a dance competition. I did the bachata, I can two-step, I can dandiya ras, I can also do the fertility dance of Mali, the kilembe. Anybody here can do that? Oh, okay. I was going to invite you up in the front. I would like to invite those who have been born outside of Canada to please stand up. Thank you. I'd like to tell you about 4 of my friends who had moved here from Kenya as well. They too were asked to shorten their names. My friend Shamash became, it's a shame. Yes. And my next friend, Sadruddin, well, this was getting sad now. I won't tell you. What do you think Badru went with? Now these are real names. So this is bad. Wait until you get to this. Fakhruddin. And how can we then shorten our name and still feel like that we belong? Be curious. Ask for a lesson. When you go in with open hands, you don't have an agenda. You're there to absorb and to get information. When you go in with an open mind, being curious is the way you'll be able to learn. When you go in with an open heart, it's okay to make those mistakes. So many times as leaders, so many times as individuals, we're so afraid to make mistakes, but that is the path to growth. So I'm asking you, it's okay to ask for a lesson. If you get it wrong the first time, ask the second time. But when you make that intention and when you ask that person, it makes them feel that they belong, that they are seen, that they are heard, that they have a place at the table, and that they are welcomed at the table. Othering. What that means is that people put people into groups and norms where there is an in group and where is the group that is not in favor. And with cultural humility, it allows others to share their own experience. We cannot be masters of a different culture or race or people. They are the masters. They know themselves. When we allow them to open up and share their stories, that is the gift we receive. So many times at the diversity table, there are these voices that feel that they're not heard and they don't bring anything to the table because they feel like they're not going to be heard. What it is that we move from a paradigm shift from cultural competence to cultural humility. How do we do that? By knowing that there is no end point, that this is a lifelong journey, because every day cultures are evolving. Having childlike curiosity is how we are going to be able to move to cultural humility. Recognize that there are power differences over here, allowing others to the table and saying that yes, not only do you have a seat at the table, you have a voice at the table. And when we move to partnerships by inviting groups to come in and moving from here to heart-centered leadership, that is when we are able to move mountains. When people from diverse cultures come together, it's not what they say, it's what they don't say. And by really listening, not only to the verbal, but the non-verbal cues, we're able to have a deeper understanding. And it strengthens teams. This takes practice. And when individuals in a team feel psychologically safe to share their ideas, they do that without fear of things that could go wrong. It's a high-performing workforce, committed employees, high-performing organizations, job and career satisfaction. So much more happens when individuals feel psychologically safe to be able to speak what's on their mind. Think of a time when you've been invited to a table, but you did not feel welcome. How did that make you feel? Now, think about a time when you were not only invited, but you were encouraged to participate. How did that make you feel? Cultural humility requires role models. It is up to us. It is up to me. It is up to each one of us. That is where the journey begins. So I ask you that on Wednesday when you return to your offices, what is one thing you will do differently? Where will you start with cultural humility? I give you these 5 R's of cultural humility. They're not in order. The 5 R's, I will start with reflection. And when we open our minds and our hearts, we can then look at what did I learn from this person with this interaction? Did I engage in cultural humility? Now, when you're talking to somebody from a diverse culture or people in your team, don't go, wait a minute, let me think, okay. So what did you want to say? This will be done at the end of the day when you're reflecting on the day that went by. And what you do is that you can tomorrow decide to start again. And it's okay to start again. From reflection, we move to respect. And you ask yourself, did I treat each and every interaction I had today with respect? This is not only for cultural diverse teams. This could be at the dinner table at home. It could be at a banquet or at a restaurant. Every interaction you have. This could be at a workplace table. From there, we move to regard. And you regard that each and every conversation, did you avoid any unconscious biases? We all have biases. And so when we do that reflection and regard, we can then go back and say, okay, this is what I can do different. How can I treat each and every individual with respect? From there, we move to relevance. And when we practice cultural humility, we find out, was it relevant? Was there anything I could have done different? And from there, we move to resiliency. Because each and every interaction, there could be times when there is conflict that happens. And one party can feel that they were wronged. And when that happens, what can you do is practice resiliency and humility. Am I being brought to the table for what I can do or for my accent or how I look? The next time you're invited at the table, I invite you to practice cultural humility. Thank you. Chai?